welcome to Bottom Line with Ronnie and Byron. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Byron.
And today we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to start with the legalization of marijuana. People are trying to put that on the ballot for the 2022 election.
Also on national news, we're going to talk about the special envoy for Haiti resigns, citing inhumane U.S. decisions to deport those thousands of Haitian migrants.
And then we'll come back and talk about some high school sports as well as college sports that's taking place on tomorrow.
And in entertainment, we got a few deaths to talk about, especially Anthony Johnson, well known for the movie Friday and House Party.
And then we'll switch back to our relationship tea for the week. The topic is, when do you tell people the truth and when do you tell them what they want to hear? We'll get to it right after this. We're going to start with our local and state news. It's brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance offers property insurance, vehicle insurance, life insurance, as well as business insurance. Please contact them at 850-633-3460. That's Brightway Insurance. So, Byron, we're going to talk about how people are going to react when they see, if they see the legalization marijuana proposal on the 2022 ballot. There's an organization that's really trying to get this done. So I think it's going to happen, if you ask me. I really do. The group called Regulate Florida is working really hard to get this done. What do you think?
Yeah, legalization, I mean, it's going on across the country, across, pretty much most of the biggest states in the U.S. And then when you think about it, it's the medical marijuana is now the stigmatism of it being a bad thing, or the whole the bad. Over the years, marijuana has been marketed over in movies and television shows, and I think now it's starting to come around. And so as the new generation grows and grows, it's becoming more acceptable. So I know as far as legislation wise in the state, there's been a little pushback as to adding so many different amendments to the Constitution, but I think it'll pass. I mean, I think predominantly in Florida residents are coming around. So didn't you mention the proposed
the proposed constitutional amendment created by the group Regulate Florida would allow people 21 and over to possess and use marijuana for recreational use. It would also let adults grow up to 9 cannabis plants with a maximum of 18 plants per household. So that's what they're trying to put in the proposal. And, I'm like you, I think it's going to pass. I think they're going to get the votes. They actually need, I shouldn't say votes, petitions. I'm going to tell you, they actually need a certain amount of petitions, which will be 225,000 signatures from registered voters to qualify for the judicial review. And then after that, they'll need 891,000 to get it on the ballot. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a lot. And how many plants it said? 18 per household?
Well, it said you can have 18 per household. Yeah, 18.
Yeah. I was thinking one.
No, it said you can have 18 per household. And like you said, it's 21 and over. That's the age.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be interesting. So Brian, so we'll see what happens with that. We'll keep an eye out on it and report back as this develops. Okay. So let's move on to the next story. Governor Ron DeSantis basically has, as of, I think it was Wednesday, said that their quarantine rule has changed for kids that are exposed. So before, if a kid was exposed to COVID-19, they had to quarantine. They couldn't go to school. Well, the new rule is, as of Wednesday, is if a kid is exposed, they don't have to quarantine unless they've tested positive or they have symptoms. What do you think about that, Byron?
Yeah. and I get it, because the 14 days, it really puts a dent in the child's education. But my family, we got exposed, and but we got the news. We had the 7-day rule, um, but everybody tested negative. But at the same time, if I'm a parent, if I'm a parent of a child that I feel like, okay, they tested negative, there's no problem, they don't have any symptoms. Yeah, of course I want them back to school. But now, if I find out another child tested positive and they're just back, without I don't know nothing, and they didn't quarantine, and then I'm gonna be kind of upset about that.
Right. That's what I was thinking. My question is, are they making those individuals that have been exposed to get tested? I mean, are they being tested? Or even though they have not asymptomatic, or even though they're not, not showing signs, I think if you're going to put this rule in, you still have to get those kids tested, because if a kid is exposed, it still can take up to 5 days for them to show symptoms. So if you send them back on day 1, you could be spreading it in the classroom.
Yeah. And then who's keeping track of this? Is it the school nurse? Is it the teacher? If the parent is already kind of like, I'll send them regardless of if they're not asymptomatic, who was tracking if they even, was around or tested positive? That's one of those tricky things where it could get out of hand real quick. I know the intent,
but that rule went into effect on Wednesday.
Yeah. I think now we're getting to a level of complexity.
Yeah. Well, as of Wednesday, if your kid is exposed to any other individual at school and they don't show any signs and they have not tested positive, they can go to school. So I don't know. Like I said, I think there needs to be some type of clarity on, are you making the students get tested that have been exposed, just to make sure? Because some people are not getting tested. They may be exposed. So you can send a kid to the classroom that's really positive and asymptomatic. So
that's what I'm saying. They could be asymptomatic, but you know what I'm saying, not have any symptoms. So they could give it to somebody,
right,
even though they don't have any symptoms,
right,
unless there's some some new information they got. Question. Yeah.
Well, that's what it said. So he's basically, that's the rule now. That is the new rule. So like I said, I don't know anything about how they're going to really keep this tight knit, because like I said, you can send a kid back to school. And a lot of parents, if the kid has not shown any symptoms, they're not going to get that kid tested. They're not fine. And they'll send them back to school when it could be a case where the kid is positive. So that's something that, I think each parent got to use common sense. Okay. All right, if this is the new rule, let me just go get my kid tested if my kid was exposed, just to make sure I'm not infecting anyone else. I think that's the attitude parents should take at this point.
Also, I think that would be a good policy to implement once vaccines are out for kids at the younger age group. I think that'll be more appropriate then, but I think it's a little early for the governor to put that out right now. I really do.
Well, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
It is a done deal. So that's that. And then the next thing I'll talk about is our local Jackson County Board of County Commissioners are paving some streets. The 3 names that I've received, they're all 3 of them in District 2, which is Eric Hill's district. So if you're on these districts, if you're on these streets in District 2, you're going to get some chip seal, which is really not the pavement. I don't know if anybody understands that. Byron, go ahead and explain the difference to them.
It's a cheaper method, but it's more, it feels when you're riding the road, it feels kind of like gravel. Those of us that live in those are in District 1, from the old commissioner, Dr. Spires, a lot of those roads are chip seal, which they good to go, but it's gonna, after so many years,
it wears
off quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, did they say a timeline on when they were when they could expect?
Yeah. Matter of fact, let me give you the names of the road. It's Collins Road, Seifert Road, and Shallow Church Loop. Again, Collins Road, Seifert Road, and Shallow Church Loop, and they're all are in District 2, which is that Sneed's area. Now, the interim road and bridge director, which is Rhett Daniels, he's filling in till they get a permanent person. said that they're going to start pretty quickly. In the next couple of weeks is what he said. And again, it's going to be chip seal, and these roads are currently dirt roads, so I guess chip seal is better than dirt roads. It'll cover, when it rains, the potholes and prevent that type of thing from happening.
Yeah, anything's better than
dirt roads. So that's true. But yeah, that's it. I think people on those streets will be pretty excited, especially when it rains. Now, Byron, I wanted to go back to DeSantis. On Wednesday, he did, actually not Wednesday, Tuesday, he did name the new Surgeon General for the state of Florida. His name is Joseph A. Ladapo, and he is an African American. It says he's originally from Nigeria, but he came here at the age of 5. But that is the new Surgeon General, and he's already been on the road with DeSantis. He was actually with him when they made the announcement about the new quarantine rule on Wednesday. So he's working hard, hitting the pavement with the governor. He's already put out a statement that the state of Florida will not be in fear. He's put out some statements in the past about vaccines and masks that are a little questionable. So we just kind of keep an eye out on this new Surgeon General.
Yeah.
Have you seen the statements he put out about vaccines and masks? This is early on.
I haven't. I seen one. I think it was a clip. News clip, might have been a 20-second news clip where he was basically telling people, that wearing masks and everything was the right thing to do. But I remember feeling like, you sound like you kind of teetering the line there, Yeah, you definitely have to make sure that's just like the last Surgeon General we had. He got people got on him about some of the comments he made, the U.S. Surgeon General. So. Give me some time. Let me check him out. See what how he rolls. But yeah, it's cool to see African American get in that position, and hopefully he takes it, runs with it, and does the right thing we need to do.
Well, let me just say this. There was some controversy. He's basically kind of said vaccine mandates can't stop the COVID spread.
What?
Yeah, he did say that, and this is like, I think last year in 2020. He said tools for stopping variants are limited, and like mask and distancing, vaccines are not a panacea, meaning it's not the answer. So that's what he said last year. So that's why he did say some, controversial, make some controversial statements. So,
and this is a pointed position, right?
Yes, by the Governor DeSantis, and like I said, his name is Joseph A. Ladapo. He comes from UCLA. He did graduate from Wake Forest as well. So he has some great credentials behind him. So we got to just kind of watch him. Yeah. Okay. All right. Again, the local and state news were brought to you by Brightway Insurance. They offer property insurance, business insurance, life insurance, and vehicle insurance. They are located in Marianna at 2867 Caledonia Street, and you can reach them at 850-633-3460. And they're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and they are open on Saturdays by appointment only. What you got for national news, Byron?
So for national news, before I begin, because we care, we are here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Marianna and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that are within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. That's People's Funeral Home. So gonna begin. I kind of try to keep away from many of the national topics that all of the networks are gonna hammer, but it's hard for me to step away from this, Ronnie. So special envoy for Haiti resigns, citing inhumane U.S. decision to deport thousands of Haitians from the U.S. border. So Daniel Foote, I think I'm pronouncing it right, the U.S. special envoy for Haiti, handed in his resignation to Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and saying he will not be associated with United States inhumane, counterproductive decision to deport thousands of Haitian refugees from the Mexican border. I think it was around 1,400 refugees that were repatriated, returned back back to Haiti thus far. Seems like to me, I don't know what it is, but the U.S. policy in regards to Haiti, even since I was little, has always it's always been, you know, seemed to me negative. It's like anytime you had Haitian refugees, you see the footage, boom, they get shot back. But you know, America has this thing where it's like everybody you know, comes over if they, especially when they're seeking asylum, and it's almost like roles have reversed, right? Democrats was on Republicans and the Republican administration for, you know, whether it was a travel ban, whether it was the border, you know, with South American migrants. Now Democrats are in charge, and it's like the same thing with Haitian migrants. I think America has to really redefine or come up with some better policy, especially dealing with Haiti. And Haiti has got slammed. I mean, earthquakes, hurricanes. They've had assassinations go on within their administration and their political parties and stuff like that. And it's getting crazy. And so you would understand what people are trying to, you know, seek asylum in America.
Right. You can't blame them. You can't. I mean, you can't blame them.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's kind of sad to watch that. Let's talk about the whip, the horse whip.
Yeah.
Have you seen the pictures? Yeah.
So I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't want to believe that it was. I was like, nah, that's probably, you know, that's probably the rope from
like a Photoshop.
You know, yeah, or somewhere the angle where it don't look, where it looked like something, but it's really not. And yeah, I'm like, where I'm to the point. I was talking with a cousin the other night, and it was like, who issued you that? Who gave the okay to say, all right, this go ahead and move forward and get the whip and start getting the people out of the way. Who does that? I mean,
that's inhumane. I mean, that's crazy.
You wouldn't even do that to a dog.
Yeah.
But you'll think to do that to the people, you know. Yeah. So
where's the outrage? Bad. Where's the outrage though?
Yeah,
where's the outrage that you're treating humans like this? You're riding on a horse and you got a horse whip and you're trying like you're rounding up cattle. Where's the outrage? This country should be like, you know, in like a huge rumbles over this, but it's crickets. I haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, there's a group in South Florida that held a rally on Wednesday, a small group, but you know, there's not like a huge outrage overall.
Where's the accountability? You see what I'm saying? Where's the now you're seeing in the media, you're saying that we jumping on different topics. We trying to get away from that. Where's the activism? Where's the, you know, that you would see, you know, heavily in any other circumstance? Where is it at?
Yeah.
And it's sad, but you know, it's like, you know, tides change, and then it's no, you know, it's nothing for these people. Like I said, it makes no sense to me. Who the optics? Who does that? You know, and bad decision making on everybody from the lowest level. And now you're seeing the narrative is trying to get away from this story as fast as possible. So hopefully something changes. You know, Haiti has a very rich history, and part of it is they haven't been able to, you know, rise as far as economically. They haven't been able to get out of that hole, and natural disasters really hit them very hard. You know, but hey, so into some better news, I guess, maybe for somebody, not for me, but the 430, I don't know if you knew about it, was a $432 million Mega Million jackpot that came out Tuesday. So here I was thinking I was going to be able to buy me a ticket and just have me a little chance at glory. And I missed out. So there was a single, it's rare that happens. There was a single Mega Million winner out of New York City. So I don't, they try to stay anonymous. I don't know if they found the ticket holder yet, but man, I know people going crazy trying to find that ticket. They matched all 6 numbers, and ended up I think the payout. You know, you can get the lump sum or you can get the annuity. The lump sum would be somewhere around 315 million. And the annuity, you know, I didn't break down annuity, but I'm a person, I'm good with annuity could at least give me, maybe a meal, a couple. It's got to be something like that a year.
Man, that's a lot of money, Byron.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, 400. That's a big cut though. 432 to 315. But yeah, I personally would be good with annuity. I don't know how you do it, but a lot of times I'd sit around and when they had those big jackpots and we'd sit around and work and talk about what would we do, if we won.
Just dream.
Yeah. I would
just
travel.
Dream.
Yeah, I would travel. I'd probably have 7 degrees and start just build my businesses and
several businesses. Yes. Every kid I have a business.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They're definitely
every kid.
They go to college, come back and run their own business.
Mm-hmm. That would be the plan. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So in my next story, bipartisan police reform talks sparked by George Floyd's death collapsed in Congress. These bipartisan talks, after the death of George Floyd, a lot of protests, a lot of feelings and upsetness and people angered, trying to reform, have a conversation about police reform. I know there was a campaign to defund the police, and a lot of those talks started to arise. And so since now, it's conversations are dead at this point. Bipartisan talks, new federal police reform sparked by the death over with no plans to move ahead with legislation. So Senator Cory Booker told reporters that the negotiators were not making meaningful progress. They even attempted to adopt a Trump executive order that called for the establishment of national accreditation standards, along with banning chokeholds, no knock warrants, limiting the transfer of military equipment to state and law enforcement departments, and creating a database that documents complaints against officers. But Senator Tim Scott came out and spoke, and basically they couldn't come to an agreement, and looks like Senate Democrats are looking to just, I guess, go back to the states with it. But at this point, no more negotiations about police reform, and that's unfortunate.
It's a done deal. So it's just
it's a done deal. I mean, it'll get in the House, but it's not going to do anything in the Senate.
All that work, a lot of people, effort and time in trying to get that beyond this point, and unfortunately, it's been unsuccessful. So, which that really makes our younger generation kind of figure out, feel like, why do we do all of that? It make, and I know it does, because I can kind of feel that way too. Like, we went through all those, jumped through all those hoops, did everything we're supposed to do, and there's nothing that is coming to fruition regarding police reform, and it's just a shame. It really is.
I think 2 things from this is young people can take away from it. They have to get engaged and understand that they have to get that same energy when it comes to their local and their state elections, and knowing what's going on within their local, because it directly affects you. At the same time, not just getting engaged, but getting into politics and looking for who they want to fight and represent them in as far as in the national U.S. Senate and U.S. House reps. Because listen, these politicians they were duly elected, and they represent people that wanted them there. So that's what they're fighting. That's what they're working towards. And young people have to understand. They have to understand that they put a lot of energy in activism and fighting, but rarely do they vote. Their voting numbers don't represent.
It doesn't match up.
Yeah,
right.
It don't match up.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And so nobody in the political field really worries about them. The main thing I want young people to realize is not to get discouraged. Don't take this and feel like there's no need to bother at all. You just got to redirect your energy towards an effective, plan, an effective strategy. I look at it this way. If you're in Walmart and you have a spill on aisle 7, whatever, paper and goods, you're not going to go and call the Walton family or the head, the CEO of Walmart for that spill of water. You're going to go and find the manager or another associate, or even the store manager if you want to. But, and that's the same way I look at it when it comes to local and state. If you got an issue with the police reform and things was going on in your city, in your county, you can directly affect that. If you don't have things in your neighborhood, in your community, in your county, your district, you can affect
go
that.
to, yeah. And that's what it goes back to, learn teaching at an early age how local and state and congressional politics work. I think we got to start at age 5 because there's a whole generation, I think, that just missed it, that don't understand how to get things done, don't understand their value in local government, the value of their vote, the value of their voice. They don't understand that. So I think we need to really start at age 5 and teach our kids, listen, this is how it works here. This is how it's set up. And this is how it's done. If you are wanting change in your community, you have to talk to your local officials. And this is how it's done. You have to have a relationship. You have to understand that they represent you. And if there's something that's being done that you don't like, that means you have the option to get them out of office and put someone else in. You are valuable and you have those particular powers. So I think we need to instill that into them at an early age, Byron.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line because they miss it. So, all right, what else you got?
That's it. So we've covered a lot of the main topics. We've covered Haiti, and I hate the Haiti. Look, people, y'all, we got to do better. But the national news was brought to you by this national segment was brought to you by People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we are here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that are within the reach of all. Our caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. Our services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price suitable for all. Give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233 or simply stop by for more information. It's People's Funeral Home.
Okay, we'll move right into our local sports. So tonight we have some high school football action, and I'll just give you a couple of we only have a couple in the area, but Graceville is at Liberty County tonight. Graceville unfortunately lost their homecoming last week to North Bay Haven, and they lost pretty badly, 38-0. Now, yeah, they did. Cottondale is at home tonight against the same team, North Bay Haven. So we'll see how that goes. But last week, Cottondale did lose to Bozeman, 48-22. In Bluntstown last week, they beat Freeport, 55-17. But tonight, they were supposed to play this team called Whatcom Academy out of Jacksonville, but that team canceled the game. So Bluntstown will not be playing at all tonight. And Bluntstown is doing pretty good, really good. Sneeze, yeah, they're kind of like a powerhouse in the area. Sneeze is at home against John Paul II. I don't know where that school is, so I'm gonna have to look that up. But Sneeze, again, they lost like the other teams in Jackson County. They lost to Holmes County last week, 34-13. And then Mariana is at Walton tonight. And they were the only team in Jackson County to win last week. They beat Rutherford last week, 20-7. Chipley is at Freeport tonight. They beat Vernon last week, a whopping 50-0. So those are your high school football action tonight. And then, but again, if somebody knows what John Paul II is, please let me know, because that is the team that Sneeze is playing.
And that Triplet game, they were close to making ESPN with those numbers, 52-0. Good Lord.
Yeah, 50-0. I mean, they got shut out. Vernon, like I said, there's a couple of shutouts that I mentioned. Graceville got shut out, unfortunately, on their homecoming by North Bay Haven. And like I said, Cottondale plays North Bay Haven tonight. So we'll see how that goes. Now, moving over to tomorrow, your college flag, you get Florida State versus Louisville in Tallahassee. Everybody knows that Florida State did lose to Wake Forest last week, 35-14. And with that said, there was some rumbling, there's some talking about possibly entertaining Primetime himself coming back to Tallahassee. I always say the school that he
Leave
built.
crime alone. Leave him
But
alone.
I know people can have some differences regarding that. What do you think? But I mean, go ahead and say what you want to say about possibilities. Nothing, official. People just kind of talking. Boosters are really kind of leaning in the direction of, kind of to come up push this campaign. But what do you thought? What are your thoughts? Go ahead.
They leave prime time alone. I think with the way the contract, I'm not sure exactly. This is just rumor mill, but the contract that they have with Mike Norville is pretty much they kind of stuck with it, as far as having to pay him out and all that stuff. But leave Prime alone. Prime, had opportunity to get Prime. Prime is doing his thing at Jackson State and is building a culture there for the HBCUs. And it's a lot more celebrity kids and top prospects that are going to the HBCU. So leave Prime alone. Let Prime. I hope he just another point to be made is money ain't everything. And he's achieved so much. I don't know. But if he does,
But Byron,
I'm not going to cancel.
Right. I get it. I will love him to say, Jackson State, because it's HBCU. He is doing a lot for HBCU programs across the board. But I will say, I will not blame him. That is the house that he built. Dion built Florida State. He really did. So it's not like he didn't go to the school, didn't have a huge impact. That's his school. So it would be really, he earned it, I would think. If he just, if the opportunity comes his way, and if he decides to take it, you can't be mad at him. You can't be. Now the question is, you mentioned Norville. I think he has a remaining 4 years on his 6-year contract. Mm-hmm. So they'll have to pay him out, a pretty good penny in order to bring someone else in. Even if it's not, prime time, anybody, and they will have to pay him a lot because he does have 4 years.
Yeah, they just paid the last coach.
To get him out of there as well.
Yeah, they just paid him. So he had like a year left on his. So,
but Florida, and this guy got 4 years. But Florida State don't like losing. So, they're looking pretty rough right now. But the interesting thing is, too, regarding he has 2 kids playing with him at Jackson State, the quarterback and the cornerback. So if he leaves Mississippi, is that part of the package? That would be, I know we're hypothetically speaking right now. Yeah. Hypothetically, we're speaking on those terms. But a question for you. What do you think?
And
do the kids go? Do the kids go too? Do they follow him or do they stay?
Well, some going to have to happen because the relationship with quarterbacks and the coach, even in the pros, the best quarterbacks, you don't even know the best quarterbacks without knowing their coach. And anytime you break up that relationship with that tag team duo, you see quarterbacks kind of fall off. Anytime the coach or the offensive coordinator gets fired or what have you, you see that gelness that quarterback once had, it gets thrown off. So he definitely, if he does, it definitely need to be a plan for his son to be able to still progress and have that comfort,
That's true. I think they'll go with him. I think they'll go with him. That's my own personal opinion. So we'll see. Yeah. All right. So that's it. So again, Florida State is in Tallahassee against Louisville. That is tomorrow. That game, I think, is at 1:30 Central Daylight Time. So it'll be 2:30 Tallahassee time, 1:30 our time. And then Florida plays Tennessee in Gainesville. That game is at 5 p.m. FAMU has a bye, so they don't play. And then Miami plays Central Connecticut State in Miami. Miami has an interesting thing going on too. Their coach is on the hot seat. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah? No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Their coach is on the hot seat. So we'll see about that. But those are your games for tomorrow. I'll give you your top 10 according to the AP poll. The top 10 is number 1, Alabama, number 2, Georgia, number 3, Oregon, number 4, Oklahoma, number 5, Iowa, number 6, Penn State, number 7, Texas A&M, number 8, Cincinnati, number 9, Clemson, and number 10, Ohio State. So those are your
Mm.
top 10 according to the AP poll. All right,
Mm.
let's move on to entertainment. What you got? You know what? Let
Okay.
me mention to go eats. I always want to mention to go eats because we sometimes do not like to go out to eat. We like to our food to be brought to us, and a good source to do that, to go eats. They are a restaurant delivery service here in Mariana and Chipley. They deliver favorite restaurants from your favorite restaurants right to your door. You don't have to go out. They also deliver to your workplace. To Go Eats also offer Walmart grocery pickup in Mariana. They're locally owned, so if you want to, try them, do go to To Go Eats app. It is an app that you have to download, and then you can place your order. If you have any questions, you can call 334-352-3522. Again, that's 334-352-3522. Again, try To Go Eats, and remember to tip the driver. What you
The
got?
luxury of living in town and living in the city, boy. To go
Yeah.
east. I'm gonna come up with something they need to come up with something for rural areas.
Well, you know what? You should call them and see how far they go out. I know Mariana and
will.
Chipley, but they may expand at some point. Who knows?
I will. I definitely will. Okay, so entertainment. We've had a man. It seemed like it's just that when it rains, it pours. That's all I can say. But we have another two deaths in the entertainment world. Anthony Johnson, that died.
And that's a kid from Baps. He's
no.
in Baps. Yeah.
No, he did.
That
Anthony
I'm
Johnson
telling you, I think that's him. He was the little short one that dated the girl, Halle Berry, co-host, co-star. He dated her. Remember? Did you see Baps?
That wasn't Baps. That's my wife moving now. She could tell you that. Baps was my.
Okay.
I probably watched Baps like one time.
I watched it about 10 times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what I know him from is House Party and Friday. House Party. A lot of people don't remember that scene when Robert Harris is looking for his son and the kids in the house and they're dancing, and he's got the one kid that's standing there. He's like, he had a jerry curl. He's saying, follow the drip. And that
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, but everybody remembers Ezell from the movie Friday. That's the character he played. He passed September 6th at 55. And once again, he's best known for those roles. He was found lifeless in a store and rushed to a hospital where he was later pronounced dead. And so far, there's no official cause of death that hasn't been put out. But his wife has came out in social media and basically very upset because she started a GoFundMe page and it hasn't generated much of anything go towards his funeral arrangements.
But let me stop you there, Byron. Why is there a GoFundMe page for a comedian, an actor?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, why? Why don't you have life insurance?
Yeah.
The cost she was trying to raise, I thought, was like between $15,000 and $20,000, and she only raised $2,600.
Yeah.
But why don't you have life insurance? I'm serious.
Yeah. I think when it comes to these, and I'm not sure because I'm not an entertainer, but as of yet, but entertainers, I don't know if they have what do they have in
place? You can just buy it. You don't have to have it from a company. You just buy it.
Was he like, athletes? Do they not, that's crazy.
You just buy it, Brian. Anybody can get it. It's on TV all the time. They advertise it. You can just buy. You don't have to be with a company. You don't have to get it from, your employer. You can just buy life insurance. And we sometimes neglect to do that. And family members are having to do these GoFundMe pages, which is not right. Okay.
And end up suffering as a result of it.
Yeah. So, and she mad because you only raised $2,600. Well, they're probably looking like, you're an actor. Why don't you have life insurance? I'm gonna leave it alone. Go ahead.
Exactly. But that was a sad one. Ice Cube, he made a post. He said, sad to wake up to the news about AJ Johnson passing away. Naturally funny dude who was straight out of Compton at the same time. Sorry I couldn't bring your character Ezell back to the big screen last Friday. That was a sad one. Hopefully,
wait, Byron. Okay, I gotta say this. This is the favorite scene that he had. My favorite scene that he had in Baps when he was trying to apologize to his girlfriend. and he was like, "'Cause I love you." Did you see that part? Remember that part? They was out on the balcony, and he was just, just carrying on, trying to get her back, and he was just, he wasn't really crying, but he was imitating as if he was crying. But that was the funniest scene that he had. So
yeah,
he was a good actor. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a real good ability that no matter how small a role you would, it took over. Like, whatever anybody else, you wouldn't remember them like that. But for him, he had that ability to, and whatever role he had, it was gonna be impact in that film. Another death we had was Melvin Van Peebles. He died at the age of 89. He was big in the Black exploitation days. Born in Chicago back in 1932, I believe. I know his son Mario Van Peebles for a lot of the films he made. One of his films was Watermelon Man. I know this is back in like the 70s. He did co-direct the movie Panther back in 1995. That was a big hit. Yeah, so he was big. He inspired a whole generation of young filmmakers to be active, and to learn how to do films with minimum money, minimum budgets. So he was real big in the heyday, and sad to see him go.
He was 89.
89.
So he got his year 89. So yeah.
Yeah, 89. But so in other news, Shark Tank, Damon John recruits Kevin Hart, Tyra Banks, more Black entrepreneurs for his Black Entrepreneurs Day. Damon John, that's the gentleman that was partnered with owner of FUBU. Forrest Biles, that was big in the 90s. I know I had a bunch of FUBU gear, and he plays on Shark Tank. He wants to help other Black business owners succeed and entrepreneurs succeed. So he's gearing up for another their inaugural Black Entrepreneurs Day presented by Chase for Business. They're also giving away it was over $200,000 in a grant with they're coing up with the NAACP. So I think it was from September 23rd to the 28th. Black entrepreneurs and small business owners could apply for a $25,000 NAACP Power Shift grant through their same events website. And so now they have even more that they're giving out through that same Power Shift grant. The event will be October 14th at the famous Apollo Theater, and it'll stream live on Damon's official Facebook page across all Facebook channels. So that'll be cool to see Kevin Hart and people like that on Shark Tank and see their business savvy minds and how they work. And also, it helps people, they get an opportunity to get investors and things.
Yeah, that's a good show. I think the show overall is a good show, and how it helps, entrepreneurs get a start and get the money that they need. So pretty good. Yeah. That's all you got?
That's all I got.
That's it. Okay. All right, good. Well, let's go to our relationship tea segment. Relationship tea. So today's topic is going to be, when do you tell people the truth and when do you tell them what they want to hear?
Relationship tea.
When do you tell people the truth and when do you tell them what they want to hear? Because honestly, and I've recently have had an experience, people can't take the truth. They just can't. They can't take the truth. They can't process it. They don't want to hear it. So it kind of leaves you like, okay, well, I'm either not going to say anything or I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear. What do you think?
I would say this, over the years, as a family member, as a husband, father, cousin, brother, I've learned to I have a real problem with listening, and not being the fix it guy. But over the years, I've kind of just been like, I'm me. If you come to me for something, I'm gonna give you the honest to God truth, and you take that. And it seems like a lot of people, especially family and friends, they look to me for that. They won't come to me because they know they're gonna get the real truth, and then I give it to you, and you take it and you go with it. But I'll forewarn you, hey, be careful, because I'm gonna give you the truth. But I especially with my wife, a lot of times I kind of try to just be quiet and just listen. Don't try to fix it this time. Just try to listen. But a lot of times, in my opinion, people need that not tough love, but just raw truth sometimes, because they can kind of go on that path, and other folks that's around them won't, they will either, boost them up when they're wrong. And a lot of times a person needs to know, like, hey, look, or you may need help, or look, you're not the right one here. So, I think truth is better.
But some people want to hear the truth, Byron.
Yeah, you're right.
It is better, but some people can't. When you're constantly in a situation where you're telling people the truth and they're getting offended or they don't want to hear it, I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, to be honest with you,
do you just say, you know what, don't ask me, or you know what, whatever you say is right?
Yeah, I just put it out there. I'm gonna tell you what I think, tell you how I feel, and I get avoided. I do get, people, they won't bother to say nothing to me about certain stuff because I've been told I'm too opinionated, and that's cool. But at least that I'm gonna give you my honest opinion, the truth as I see it, and if you get that from somebody else, maybe you feel like, well, yeah, Byron is a good person to talk to, because I'm not gonna be rude about it, but I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, this how it's looking for me. Hindsight 2020. I think you should, this, that, and the third.
Well, don't you think? I mean, if you have if you have true friends or true, when I say true relationships that are, your ride or die people that are around you, whether it's friends or family, you should be able to tell each other. I mean, you yourself should be able to receive the truth, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, or it's a critique. You should be able to receive that, right? So I'm giving an example, and this is, I said this when this happened. What's her name? Shakira, the one that Shakira, young girl. Yeah, I get it, and I made this joke, but I was really telling the truth. I said, if she had some Preach. You know who Preach is? Preach is the guy from All American.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so Preach would have told her, "No, Shawty, you go on to the Olympics, and we'll be here when you get back." Yeah. They'd have told her the truth, like, "No, you don't do that now. You wait. Yeah. We'll hit you up when you get back, but you go on right now to the Olympics and bring back the medal." Yeah. So if she has some, don't do that now. You just go on. I mean, if people around her would have told her the truth, she wouldn't be in the situation. Like I said, Chicago, right? That's what I'm saying. You need some Preach around you. And I always say him because to me he seems like he's a straight up guy. He's a character out of All American. If you don't know.
Yeah. Now I'll say this. I'll say this, lying to somebody, you sometimes is better. Sometimes, so, we have those. How you get to lie? Yeah, no. Lying is better sometimes. I put it in this context. Something grave, something, like say if somebody's, even we do it all the time. Do I look fat? No, of course. Oh, not.
Okay.
Those things, but or just holding back and not saying something and let them, figure it out for themselves. But outside of that, no, I say be truthful,
Yeah. Well, I say either one of the two. Because again, if you're trying to not have someone to get mad at you or get offended, then don't say anything. So you got two options: you either tell the truth, or you just like, you know what, I decline to comment.
Yeah.
I think that's my new phrase. Yeah, decline. But if they're asking you, they're like, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Is that what you?" Yeah, I decline to comment. I think it'll all work out. I think that's my new adopted thing now. I think it'll all work out. It'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. Yeah. Whatever you did. Well, you didn't give me an answer. I know it'll be fine. So there you go. So, therefore, you're not offending anybody, because these days people get so offended real quick.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Bottom line. So
bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Truthful or just, hey, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah. Just, I'll just stay neutral, hey, it'll be fine. So. Yeah. All right, Byron, but that was our relationship tea discussion today. And that wraps up our show for today. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. And stay tuned every Friday, 12 o'clock for Bottom Line with Ronnie and Byron. And if you know the truth, remember this: if you know the truth, You will speak the truth, and the light shines brighter when it shines for two. We'll see you next week.
Peace.